The theatre of dreams, or is it now the theatre of nightmares? I mean, Alex Ferguson, while in charge at Manchester United, lost 34 league games. JRP, since his retirement, how many games at home you think Manchester United have lost?
Let me take a wild guess. 34?
Yeah, 34. And people, you know, it's the last of the real podcast. It's Zane alongside JRP. And we're diving right into it, JRP.
Right into it.
So it's the theatre of nightmares now, I presume.
Could call it that, but it wasn't an encouraging performance by Manchester United or none of the players to be exact.
Look, if I say the word lackluster, that's basically, being kind.
Lack of imagination as well.
Look, JRP, we all know that Manchester United is, hit with a lot of injuries in the back line.
Correct.
However, the team, once you see the team sheet as a Manchester City player or manager, right, it doesn't strike fear in your heart. It doesn't make you think, well, this is going to be a hard day, right? You see this team sheet and it was just unbalanced. Bruno Fernandes.
A frustrated figure at the moment.
Yeah, because he's been played out of position. I don't know why Ten Hag can't drop Rashford because he's on absolutely no form.
None whatsoever. I didn't think Manchester United would have won, to be honest, but you would have think that they would have find some sort of motivation, dig deep, and try to find a win in this match. Not only that as well, De Bruyne wasn't playing, and without De Bruyne, you can see the impact on Alan. Even though he has managed to before this game, he has managed to score 9 goals in a goal a game. Mm-hmm. So you would have think Manchester United would have capitalized on that, but that wasn't the case. Alan turned up and he scored twice.
And provided the finishing assist.
Yes, and that was the icing on the cake. We can sit here and we can debate the penalty. It was a penalty in my eyes. My only thing is that this should be consistent because we don't want to go into our next game week or we see something like that and then it's not given as a penalty. But my thing is, if you're going to defend in your penalty area and you're going to have your arms around the opponent, you're only asking for trouble.
That is it. Like, while I can understand, everybody's take on it, as a professional, you know that if you do that, you're asking for trouble. Especially when we see how the referees, when it comes to penalties, they're basically following the letter of the law right now.
And to me, the longer they take to arrive at a decision, I always think it's going to go against you. The minute that they're taking that long to look at it, it just seems that you're going to be at a disadvantage. Once you put your hand around a player and pull him down, now you're leaving the interpretation up to the VAR and ref to now figure out was that forceful enough to pull him down. You don't want to be in that position.
Yeah, no, don't leave it to chance. My question is though, right, with this another poor performance and another home loss, right? We have fans blaming Erik Ten Hag, right? In a case like this, you think it's fair to blame the owners?
We know that the Glazers have a lot to blame for, right? We know that they milk Manchester United like a fat cow. At the end of the day, they do their part. They do provide players for the manager or for whichever manager that comes in, right? We sit here and many Manchester United fans believe that Ten Hag was the answer. He was the man to fix this based on his track record, right? So far, it's not going great. It's not the end of all. Of course, there are going to be moments where you're going to go through a difficult spell. The thing with Manchester United is not necessarily even a difficult spell. It's just a situation where they seem like they're just not moving forward. It's like they keep getting worse.
Someone said earlier, Manchester United is the only team they see that gets everything that they want but move backwards, right? Because even though the Glazers do milk Manchester United, when it comes on to players, they buy the players that they want, right?
Correct.
When it comes down to the managers, they get the managers that they want.
Manchester United players should show a lot of the blame for this performance. It was a performance that they let down their fans. It was a performance that they let down themselves as well.
This was a performance that came after a tribute to Sir Bobby Charlton. He would be turning in his grave after seeing that. Let's, slide away from Manchester United and look at some of the other teams that, while not doing great, they're still performing up to a standard. Like Brighton dominated Fulham. Absolutely dominated, but still came away with a draw, right? You think this is a factor of, too many competitions, they can't manage Europe as well as the league?
We thought that they would have gotten the win against this Fulham team, right?
Yeah.
And that wasn't the case because, like I said, they dominated possession. They pretty much dominated from the start to the finish, but couldn't walk away with a win.
Couldn't. And I think, while their hands are in so many baskets, are so many competitions, the rotation is one of the things that's definitely affecting them. Because
yes, there's no momentum building.
Exactly. That is definitely it. The lack of momentum. I think Brighton, like we say all the while, you cannot hate on Brighton. We all love Brighton, right? And I think they'll definitely be pushing for another European spot again come the end of the season.
The way going forward for Brighton is to keep their best pool of players that they have, right?
Yeah.
Because if they're planning to contribute on the European stage, right, they can't keep letting go their best players. So that's something that they will have to correct. That's something that they will have to try to convince their best crop of players to stay, even when the big boys come around.
Yeah, we know the big boys will be looking for the likes of Mitoma, Estopinian and so on. Yeah. Another team that's flying, especially at home, Aston Villa. They made light work of Luton Town today. Absolutely light work.
As expected. I didn't think Luton Town had any chance of getting a result here. This is what 12 home win.
Yep, 12 wins.
Yeah, and the likes of Ali Watkins, even flying at home. Emery really transformed this team around, honestly.
To how Emery has turned around, he's already secured himself as a Villa legend, an Aston Villa legend in terms of management. Because remember when he came in, Villa was down at the bottom, just got rid of Gerrard, and ever since then.
We know of Emery class. We know of... We know what he's capable of. This is a man that went to 3 Europa League finals?
Finals, consecutive finals.
Yeah, consecutive, and it was Arsenal who disappointed him. So yeah. So we know what Emery is capable of. To me, Emery has evolved somewhat because he was more of an attacking manager, and I've seen now in this Aston Villa side, he has molded them more where they're even more defensive, a better defensive unit. So it's not the case where they need to win 4-3.
Yeah, he's definitely improved on the defensive side of things. No, a team that, boy, away from home, I don't get it. It's Jekyll and Hyde, Nottingham Forest. Away from home, horrible. At home, defensively solid. I don't get it.
I can only assume that they are more comfortable playing at home.
All right, like today they took on a Liverpool team, high-flying Liverpool team. But before we go any further still, we just hope that Luis Diaz's parents the whole situation is resolved speedily. They are safe.
I saw a report found his mom.
They found his, but not his dad.
But not his dad. I don't know how accurate that is, but hopefully that is true.
Yeah, definitely. Hopefully that is true. But a sad situation. Sad.
Yeah, very indeed.
You know, it was good to see though that Liverpool, you know, without him, still were able to turn up and brush aside Nottingham Forest basically. And
routine.
My biggest takeaway, routine. My biggest takeaway from this game in the JRP was the fact that again Salah wasn't his shining best.
Yeah, just came away with one goal.
That goal though, that was a gift.
Yeah, that was a gift.
What was Matt Turner doing? For anybody that didn't see the game, Matt Turner was almost to the halfway line. Let's say half the way from his goal to the halfway line, trying to clear a ball. Was passed up to Salah. Totally misread the bounce and gave Salah an empty goal.
Another questionable keeping decision, not just by Turner, but we have seen more and more of this week in and week out. He's not the first, and surely he won't be the last.
No, definitely not. Definitely not. But one keeper that did, do really, really well this game week was Pickford.
Yes, apart from his unnecessary yellow card in that scuffle,
Pickford
he managed to shut out not a very inspiring West Ham team, but Everton did the job. And one thing with any Sean Dyche team, you never want them to go ahead because they're always a compact unit, and once they go ahead, it becomes even much worse. But worrying for West Ham, because each time after a European game, they seem to struggle. They got a shot defeat in Europa League, and I'm wondering possibly may need a break. 10 marks over Anthony as well. It's been a while since he has scored a goal in the league. I can't even remember when last he scored.
I mean, a goal overall.
The question will be out for him. Should he keep starting or should he see the bench? But not encouraging performance by West Ham in the league this season.
No. I mean, earlier on they were playing, really well. They were putting in some good performances, but as of late they have totally dropped off. The thing is, though, we have to give Dominic Calvert-Lewin some props because this was his 50th game or
50th league goal. Surprisingly enough, West Ham team is that team that he has scored the most goal against.
It was fitting. Yeah, it was definitely fitting.
But we see what he's capable of when he's fit, right?
Oh yeah.
And that will always be the question mark for him, right? Just to keep him fit for the season, because in this match he was excellent. He did no wrong. At time he was the lone striker. He's that kind of striker that he will run after everything.
Yeah, he doesn't need no help.
Yeah, he will fight for everything. He doesn't start moving. He's not one of those striker that's going to always steal the limelight, but his work rate is up there. And if Everton plan to stay up, which I think they will do because they always seem to miss that relegation.
Everton are 10 points now, right? That is 9 points ahead of schedule,
9 points ahead of schedule. Once they can keep him fit, Everton will be okay. And trust me, like I said, Everton will be okay because the likes of Burnley, the likes of Nottingham Forest, the likes of Luton are playing far worse than them.
In all honesty, still, Everton, the performances earlier in the season, like the first couple of games, the worry was there, but they definitely seem to have turned a corner.
But they're grinding out their result.
Another team that, and it begs the question, right? Arteta said it earlier, that with so many competitions, the sizes of teams should be increased, right? Because another team that I think Europe definitely had an impact on their performances this game week was Newcastle in their 2-2 draw with Wolves.
You could see it. It was clear.
Trippier was
poor. It was
very
poor.
Right? Worst game of the season.
But it was an entertaining game. To be honest,
it became a slugfest in the end, which I mean, as fans, we love seeing that.
Quoting Pep, that Korean guy that gave away the penalty.
Hey, listen.
I don't know what he was thinking right there, but funny enough, Zane, funny enough, VAR was bringing to ash out stuff like players diving or trying to cheat their way of getting at them. Only to see a player in this match, VAR review it over and over. Reward him and said, hey, that's a penalty. But like I said, again, no disrespect to the Asian guy, I can't pronounce his name. He had the opportunity to clear that ball and he delayed on it for far too long.
Like he said, at least Pep Guardiola is talking about him. He chan or
something. But believe me, he is a talented footballer.
Oh yes.
He's talented.
No, my only worry for Wolves is that with the Pedro Neto injury, right?
Yes.
Hopefully not for a long period of time. But
the most influential talisman at the moment.
Oh my God, he was on fire, man. He was absolutely on fire.
At one point, he was frustrated in the match because they weren't giving him the ball. But top players always want the ball, and when he has the ball,
things happen. Yeah, things happen. I will celebrate this one, JRP, because Bournemouth has finally gotten a win.
Philip Billings, right? The guy who leading goal scorer of last season for them. A splendid goal, to be honest. Splendid goal. Yeah. I'm pretty sure they would want to win more games.
The games now are going to be coming thick and fast.
Well, I don't want to be a party pooper, but I believe their next opponent is a difficult one.
Extremely difficult one.
Again?
Manchester City.
Look at it, Ian. You at least have to party before you're going to the serious business.
Yes. You have to. Listen, I'll be supporting Bournemouth on that game, Definitely.
Don't we all?
Just like how this weekend I was a Brentford supporter. No, seriously. Anyone, listening, I would love to know, is it just a Chelsea rebuild that's taking some time, or does this feel like one step forward and two step back, especially after last week's game against us?
What I can tell you is that this game against Brentford was a slap in the face, a slap of reality, because last week they were in fantasy world when they came away with a point against Arsenal. It's a reality check that Chelsea is not there as yet.
To say the least.
Chelsea is not there as yet.
No, listen, in all fairness, for the first half, y'all played extremely well, right? Dominated the play. Cole Palmer, excellent buy from
talented young man.
Yeah, excellent buy. However, when it comes down to the finishing and the creative genius in the middle, Chelsea is lacking big time in that department.
Yeah, but this is a record for Brentford as well, because they are the first Premier League team to go down to Stamford Bridge and win on their first three visit.
It's like a home game for Brentford,
And to be honest, Chelsea was lucky Tony wasn't there.
No, and listen, talking about lucky, this is another keeper that, as a keeper, right, as a team, if your keeper is going to go up for a corner, right, don't you need to leave at least one or two near the halfway line as coverage?
Yeah. To be honest, there's question mark over him, and for some reason, I don't remember which pundit came out and said Chelsea need to go and get Ramsdale, and since he have said that this Ramsdale thing has been floating around heavily.
Yeah, that will not. That rumor right there is just putting more pressure on their keeper to make mistakes.
Yeah, and he's certainly making a lot. And here we are pointing fingers at Onana while someone else is there.
Right? And in all fairness, right, not to digress back to the Manchester United game, Onana made a world-class save, right?
Possibly the save of the season.
Yes, people will say that Haaland headed it back towards the goalie, but how close he was.
That reaction time is brilliant. I don't care what anyone wants to say. That was a top
brilliant.
save.
Listen, to how close Haaland was, JRP, plus the force he headed that ball with, the reaction time of Onana, all of that combined, stops me. Yeah. Look, when he does crap, and he usually does crap, we talk about him. So we have to give him his floor. Yeah, give him his
Yeah.
flowers for this one. Now, talking about process, I mean, our process is bearing fruit, right?
Yes,
because
indeed.
Eddie Nketiah, who would have thought?
Who would have
Hat-trick
thought?
hero. This is his
Hat-trick
first
man.
hat-trick in the Premier League as well, you know.
Last goal he scored, that's his first goal outside of the box.
And what a goal it was. I was going to say, since Onana's save was in contention for the save of the season so far, Eddie's goal is definitely in contention for one of the goal of the seasons.
That was a top performance. Fair play to Sheffield United. They were in the game up until that injury time stoppage in the first half with Martinelli.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was a lack of concentration, but since that first goal went in, everything just went downhill from there. Literally everything. Sheffield, worrying. This is their 29 goal that they have conceded this season. They have only gained 1 point from 9 games so far.
Wow.
And within those 9 games, they have conceded over 2 or more goals.
So we're looking at roughly an average at 3 goals per game.
That, my friend, is relegation written all over.
Yeah, man. That's first class stamp. Sending you back down to the championship.
It doesn't get easier from here. When you look around, who Sheffield can beat. Probably they could beat Burnley. Who knows?
Who knows? Yeah. Who knows?
But it is worrying.
What I will give Arteta praises for in this game, he gave rest to the likes of Odegaard,
Yes,
Gabriel.
that was great of him. That was great. He rotated because like you said, the games are coming in thick and fast, and you need to give the other players game. It was great to see Smith Rowe. This is a player that we all love and adore, and we want to see him get back to the best of his game. And I was a little bit disappointed that he didn't finish the entire 90 minutes, but I understand he hasn't played much 90 minutes game, correct?
Right.
But hopefully we get to see him midweek again against West Ham. El Neni, welcome back, sir.
Welcome
Been
back.
a while.
Yeah, man. Welcome back. I mean, I don't know about a lot of Arsenal fans, but I am one that I love El Neni. This guy doesn't complain, right? He's not the greatest, but he puts in a shit every single time.
We can't replace all of our quote-unquote senior players for shiny new ties, right?
Right.
We're going to need the El Neni. We're going to need the Jorginho. I'm pretty sure we didn't expect Jorginho to play this much game already in the season, but he himself hasn't put a foot wrong. It was a stellar performance, even with the likes of Martinelli and Sakanat and the scoreline. There's a player stepped up, and when it comes on to Eddie, it's not even close. Many Arsenal fans wanted to see him out. One thing we have to give him credit for. Anytime Jesus is out with injury, this youth step up. Yeah,
man. He always steps up and delivers.
And whether we are playing against a Sheffield team, he got a hat-trick. And he could have gotten a 4. And if he had gotten a 4, he would have been in the likes of Thierry and company. One thing I can say, well done to Edu and Arteta for getting Declan Rice very cheap. West Ham, you should have charged 200 million.
It would have still been worth it.
It still would have worth it. My.
Yeah, man.
Abai.
Yeah, man.
What a player.
Right. He's the only $100 million player, right, that has basically been repaying that in the first season.
Do you realize that when this guy doesn't have the ball, he's a defensive midfield player?
Yep.
But as soon as Arsenal is on the attack, he turns into a number 8 and an attacking player. And when Arsenal lose the ball, who is the first to be back in position?
Declan Rice.
That fitness level is on a different level.
Like you said, if West Ham had said 200 million, it would have been a bargain still. Name one game. I cannot name one game that you can say, this is a poor performance by Rice.
No, not at the moment.
Fair play to Rice. But, we can't leave the show without touching on the North London rivals. They are flying.
Do you see Tottenham as title contenders?
The history of the Tottenham wants me to say no. But with their current performances, right? With their current performances, I have to say, so far, yes.
Let me ask a question, right? Let me ask a fair question. And I want to know what's the difference between Tottenham and Arsenal. Last season, it take pretty much close to like 25 games for people to look at Arsenal and said, they're title contenders.
Yes.
We're not even close to that as yet.
10
so why
games
is Tottenham being dubbed title contenders just 10 game in? Am I not seeing something? What am I missing?
And the crazy thing, the crazy thing is we were playing better than Tottenham. Defensive wise, way better. And the next thing as well, JRP, when you look at it, who has Tottenham played out of the big boys? They've played us, Liverpool.
Mm-hmm.
And we all know how that went with the PGMOL, the controversy surrounding that, right? Who else have they played? They haven't played City.
No, they haven't played City as well.
They played Chelsea next.
Don't get me wrong, they are doing what they need to do, right? They are scraping through, they're getting their wins, but credit to Tottenham. They're playing. Credit to them. We have yet to see Tottenham really hit that heights of playing that kind of football this season, but one thing we know that they will fight and scrape through based on the evidence we have seen in these 10 games.
And the next thing as well, right, which no fault of their own and fair play for being top of the league still, they have been fortunate where injuries are concerned. When you look at, the likes of Manchester United, right, when you look at Chelsea, when you look at
Manchester City,
right,
Arsenal,
Tottenham has been fortunate, and again, fair play to them. We'll leave on this one last note. It's the history of the Tottenham. With that, JRP, we will leave the Neil right there until next week again. As usual, people, if you haven't, subscribed, go ahead and subscribe. Turn on the notification bell and that little like button. Please go ahead and do what?
Mash it up.
Mash it up. Yeah. And as usual, we'll ask everybody. It's getting darker and darker out there, right? And we don't mean in terms of the light. So please walk good.
And good up here, follow you.
Yeah, we're out.